those decisions. So obviously, new head coach coming in. So hopefully, they just bring in the right guy.
Ashton, what did you learn from him with your 1 year with him?
Stay positive. Be optimistic always, no matter what the situation is.
Ashton, do you have optimism going forward that they have the number 1 pick and a lot of cap space, things like that, going into the offseason?
Yeah, for sure.
What are you looking forward to most for next season?
Winning more.
What do you look for in a coach just in general that you kind of thrive off of and learn from?
I think just holding guys accountable, like especially when they need it, knowing your players well enough to just, keep that standard up. And obviously, they're the head coach, so you got to be a leader, for sure.
You went through a change at Boise State, coaching change. Does that prepare you for this?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just have to be ready to adapt for whoever is coming in the building. And obviously, when we changed around at Boise State, it got better. So I'm hoping to be the same thing.
Can you kind of expound on some of the things that you maybe learned from Pete, took from Pete?
Yeah, I mean, just bringing your best in the biggest moments. He always talking about doing stuff right longer than the other team. So I think that's what football's about, just being better for longer than the other team.
Some reports that Tom's in the facility today. Have you had a chance to catch up with him this morning or see him?
Thanks,
Points of the season to where you grab a win and you get momentum. I mean, I just can remember all the way back to the Bears week. We were 1-2, they were 1-2. One team finished 2-2, the other was 1-3. We're 3-14 and they're 12 or 13 or whatever they are. So there's a bunch of points in the season that I felt like we could have capitalized on. Maybe we have a different outcome, but like I said, we have a lot at hand for us this year, and very excited to see what we do.
For you personally, what was this season like? It seemed like a breakout year for you.
Yeah, I just was excited to go out there. The biggest thing for me is every year I look at how did I improve. And one thing that I can say like this year is just everything that I've worked on, starting to come, into play for me. Obviously I didn't have all the stats that I wanted to have, but to me, that'll come. Just the main thing for me is, am I getting open? Am I doing everything that I can do to put myself in the best position that I have? The ball will find you. The ball will get there. And, that's the exciting part. But at the end of the day, just being the best team player that I can be, and continue to work on my craft, and being the best player that I can be.
What do you think? You're a professional, but when I think this was your 3rd year, so you've had 6 offensive coordinators. I know you're a professional, but how difficult is it when you're constantly changing different voices? How important does this franchise need stability?
Very important. I mean, I think, you look at some of the teams that they go into the offseason, they've been in the offense for 2-3 years, so when you come back in the offseason program, it's not learning a new offense unless you're new to the team, but it's just more of like refining and refocusing on things. For us, it's like every offseason you're learning a new offense, so that's huge, and that's very critical to have stability because especially for like rookies and people who've been here, for not quite a few years. It's like every time, it's like you're starting all over. It's like a rookie year all over again. You come in, you learn the playbook, and then you get going. Versus you come in to know the playbook, and you can kind of build off of that, and you get comfortable in the system. So for me, I think I played 3 different roles in 3 different systems. So I'm gonna have to play another role in another system. So, but that's part of being a pro, being able to adapt and adjust and things like that. My advice to the rookies is you have to be able to adjust and adapt to things like that.
What do you think?
Why do you think the organization is in a better spot now that Pete Carroll was the head coach here?
That's a good question. I mean, honestly, I think for us, I think we have a lot of young guys that are really good that I think is going to help us in the future. And, Pete gave everything. Like I said, utmost respect to him. Very great guy. And like I said, as a person, tremendous. So I think as an organization, I think, we have a lot of different views of things. Like I said, a lot of good young players that we can build off of. We'll see what we can do.
Did he talk to all of you today?
I have not talked to him yet. I think we have a meeting here soon, so sure, hopefully we'll get to talk to him, but I have not talked to him yet.
In addition to stability, what do you think the Raiders need in a head coach?
I would say, we just that's a good question. I think we just need to be. Everybody needs to be on the same page, you know. And I think that comes with having a coach, that we can all win and build stability that way. Because all coaches have their different styles, you know. I've had Josh, AP, and Pete, and they're all different, but they all have similar things. So I think for us, it's just whoever we get, the whole staff, everyone, we all have to be on the same page. And I think that'll translate to some wins for us, and that's when we really start to have fun with it.
Can you expound on some of the things that maybe you learned from Pete, his style, his coaching, the abilities he's had? I mean, he's been around forever. Just what did you kind of take from him?
Competition every day, compete in everything you do. And that's his thing, and it's cliche because that's really true. I mean, from the day we walked in here, I remember our first meeting. He's big into basketball, so we have a hoop in there. And from that day until literally probably the last Friday, we shot hoops every day. And it's something so simple as that. You learn about your teammates in that way, the competitive moment, everyone's watching you and all that. So just the competition part, man. He brought it every day. That's what it was. It was every day. You're going to compete, go hard. And for me, it just gave me a mindset of there really is no days off in this league, because everybody's so good. So you have to bring that in. You have to bring that effort. And, from the day he walked in, he instilled that into us. So.
Trey, if the Raiders, they take a quarterback with the first pick, move forward with a rookie at the position, what would you think about that going forward next year?
I mean, as a receiver, whoever the quarterback is, my job is to make him look good. So that's what I'm focused on. Like I said, those people up there, they have a lot of work to do in regard of what they're going to do, whatever they do. Because like I said, we have the first pick, so we're technically on the clock. So regardless of whoever the quarterback is, my job is to make him look good, and I'm excited for whoever it is.
And with you kind of being the veteran now in the wide receiver room, will your door be open to guys like Dante and Jack potentially in the offseason to help them improve?
Yeah, 100%, because when you look at it, you need them to excel and improve because there's 11 people on the field, and usually there's 3 receivers. So all 3 of the guys, whoever out in that field, they have to be complementary to each other because it puts stress on the defense. So for sure, Jack, Dante, all the young guys, I know I'll be here in the offseason training, and I'm sure that they're going to be here with me training as well because I told them that we've got to take it to another level. Myself included, we all do, and I know what it takes, and I hope that I can, help them in any way that they need, and because for a guy like Dante, I went through some of the struggles that he went through as a rookie, so I can relate to him, and he's a freak. He's 6'5", I'm faster, but he's just as fast, same speed, whatever you want to say, but and he's got to be able to use that, and I think he has a unique skill set that can make him very elite in the league. And Jack, just do it all guy. That's my guy. He's going to be a very good player. And for him, it's just more so he played so many different positions this year. Just finding out what's his role, what's his niche, and we can keep building on that. But I definitely will be helping those guys for sure.
And how much attention do you pay to the draft process, the combine, and the stuff leading up into that first pick and beyond with the Raiders as you go into the offseason?
Honestly, my personal preference, not too much. Obviously it's huge. You hear about it and stuff like that, but I just try to focus on, getting better in the offseason. Obviously we'll hear and see things. I'm going to be in the building, but, that's those guys' job. They have a tough job, so, and I'm sure that they're up for the task. And for me, I'll just be back here working hard, getting ready for the upcoming season because before you know it, it'll be April 6th, and we're ready to roll, and we got to go out there and get some wins.
How many guys are going to stay here in the offseason that you've talked to?
That's a good question. I think our strength staff and Alex, AJ, and our medical staff and our facility is the best in the league. So a lot of guys tend to stay back. Honestly, if you get 50% of the team, that's good. And we have a lot of guys in there. I know I'll be here. The rookies and a lot of those guys. Like I said, AJ, Alex, Chris, although they do a fantastic job. And when you look at it, why would you leave? You have a great strength staff. We have amazing facilities. You can get treatment whenever you want. And this is what you train in. We're in Vegas. The altitude's different. The weather's different. So we won't be doing fall camp in Florida or wherever. So that's my mindset. It also just builds team chemistry when you're here. Training with guys starting in January, February, whatever. That translates to wins and stuff like that in September, October, November, December, January.
As a veteran, been around the league and knowing this is a business, when you see the 3 wins, Carroll being fired, does it kind of come as a shock still? Is it kind of a gut punch, or what is it like to a player?
This is my fourth coach, so for me, it's kind of something that's like, all right, this is part of the business. So you have to look at it like, well, what can you do? Because you're a part of the business as well. So, I look at that like making sure that I can control what I can control, that's working hard, being the hardest worker, continue to work on my craft, continue to elevate and get better. Because like you said, it's a business, but it's a production, basically, wins, loss, stats, all that stuff. So what can you do to continue to elevate yourself, so that way you don't fall victim to that side of the business and you can just be ahead of it. And but as far as the coaching stuff, man, like I said, it's fourth coach, 4 years, I think, something like that. So you just kind of like, what's next?
Given the turnover that you've seen, though, with the coaches and everything, this is the first time you guys have been in a position draft-wise with that top overall pick. Does it feel different knowing that and the cap space and everything you guys have? I know that's not your decision ultimately, but does that kind of change the optimism going forward?
I mean, I think so. I think, those guys upstairs know well better than I do. That's why that's their job. But I think, just as far as from a player looking at it, there's a lot of, possibilities and stuff that you can do, and I just look at, the Commanders, the Bears, teams, the Jaguars, that we actually played last year. And, we beat the Jaguars, and now I think they clinched the AFC South or something like that. So you just see like how fast what 1 year can do if you do it the right way. So like I said, it's a lot of pressure on those guys, and I know they're excited for it. They're up for the task, and they're ready to get this thing rolling in the right direction.
Do you think it would be a challenge from a developmental standpoint? Not just you, maybe not just you in particular, but anyone?
He wants to win. So, whether he has to go, whoever he has to go find it to get that done. I know he can do it, and I believe in him. And shoot, we'll see what happens moving forward with what we do, and I'll be here regardless. I hope so.
What do you look for? What do you look for in a head coach?
Just a great leader, someone who's not afraid to hold people accountable to do their job. Obviously, in this profession, we all need to be held accountable, held to a standard to do our job, to execute, so that we can come out with wins. And so, I'm not that hard to please. Like, I just want someone who wants to win, who's going to be hard on us, not afraid to to get on us and hold us accountable, because that's what it takes to win. So shoot, I've only been in the league 2 years, so I don't really have that much to go off of. But I'm just one of those players, like, coach me, coach. That's the type of coach I want, and I wanted to push me to be a great player.
You mentioned just loving playing here, and if you're able to, can you expand on what it would mean for you to stay here and play in your hometown?
It would mean the world to be able to stay here and play, and then hopefully get more wins. That's the main focus, and so I would love to be able to be here with my guys and play as long as I can. But obviously, in this league, that's not guaranteed. So all I can do is control what I can control. I'll be definitely happy to be here.
Do you have any off-season plans of sticking around, helping kids maybe in town?
Yeah. I get with our community engagement all the time. I text them. They have my number. We text all the time, especially in the off-season. Tell them, whatever they need me to do, I'll do. We got Nevada Reading Week coming up, I think, in 2 months, or February or March. I'm going to be doing that. I'll be at my elementary school, my old elementary school, and then probably some other ones, or do whatever. I do whatever for the community out here, hometown. So it's a pleasure to be able to do it.
You noted the fact that you've only been here for a couple of years, at least in the league, but you've seen a lot of change already so far. How much is continuity needed going forward for this team to move in the right direction?
I think we just whatever happens. I think our coach, whoever it is, or whatever happens, just get everybody on the same page, so that we can all, offense, defense, special teams, come together and go out there and execute. And if we do that, we'll win. And that's, I really think, what we need.
And I know during the season you guys are concentrated week in and week out on getting the wins, but now that the season is over, are you able to sit back and look at the top pick, and does it have a different feel that you guys are picking number one overall in terms of what it could mean for the future of the franchise?
It could mean a bunch of different things, whatever they do. Obviously, I have no control over that, but it's definitely a win for us, you could say. To have the number one pick, and so you can't go wrong with that. So whether we use that pick or trade it or whatever. I mean, for more picks or something. Whatever it takes to help us out to win. I mean, I'm all for it.
How much would it mean to you to be a part of a turnaround, a part of like the core group that brings kind of a winning culture to town?
That'd be dope to be able to do that. Because I mean, when I went to Hawaii, that's kind of how it was. Like before I got there, they didn't really have that many wins, and then when I got there, we got the culture of turning it around. Went to a bowl game every single year I was there at Hawaii. So to be able to have that, it felt good. And so I would love for that to be what happens here. We, turn it around, because that means we stuck through it from the bottom all the way to the top. And so I mean that's like what you would like think in a movie. Like that's something you make in a movie. So I mean that'd be ideal for sure.
Pete came in as the oldest head coach in NFL history. What did you and your teammates learn to respect about him through the season?
I mean, just every week he'd come in. Obviously he'd say that what we need to improve on, and he always came in positive, encouraging people. Calling us up, not calling you out like to make you feel dumb or anything like that. Like, he was always trying to, say like, mess up here or whatever. But we're gonna get it right. You're gonna get it right. Having speaking words of affirmations into people. Positive words and encouraging people. And I mean, at the end of the day, things didn't go our way, and so I mean, that decision happened today where he was gone, and I mean. I don't know. I think Pete was a great coach. He had a lot of wisdom. He's been in the game. He's been in the game for a long time. He's been around a lot of different players and everything. He brought a lot of wisdom to us. And so, I mean, despite all that, still gonna get it done. But I mean, I thought Pete was a great coach.
Despite the record, is there anything you could pinpoint of why you would think the team is better off now than when Pete found it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess the only thing that's different this year is that we have the first pick. So, I mean, we can see what we can do with that, but I'm not really sure besides that.
There's some uncertainty, obviously, with Patrick Graham now going forward, a guy that you've got some experience with the last couple of years. What have you enjoyed playing with him?
I mean, PG is a great coach. He always believed in me, always pushed me to be better. He'd come talk to me personally. Not like calling me out, but just telling me what I need to do. Like the player I could be if I, just buy into it and just keep progressing with my mental and my personal fundamentals and technique and everything. And so, I mean, I really appreciate PG, and I think he's a great coach. Love to play for him, love playing for him, and so whatever happens moving forward, I wish him nothing but the best.
Going from year one to year two, what would you say is the biggest thing that's slowed down for you within the game of football, or just within your life, that you feel like you got a lot more control of now after 2 seasons?
Well, in your rookie season, you're out there thinking about like, okay, don't mess up. But like this year, I wasn't thinking about that anymore, because it's like you understand that, like, because you want to play perfect, but the more time, more playing time you get, the more you understand like it's unrealistic to play a perfect game. And so you gotta understand that you're gonna make mistakes, things are gonna happen that you don't want to happen, but because it's the NFL, and those guys across from you are professional players too, so they're gonna obviously make plays. And so just understanding that things are not going to go your way, but you can always respond, and it's not about that one play, it's always about the next play. So I mean, I think that's the biggest thing I got to learn, and obviously just my instincts. I trust my instincts more, not doubting myself, and just getting a better feel for what's happening with offenses. Like I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like you could just feel what's about to happen sometimes, and I think last year I had that feeling sometimes, but I just wouldn't trust it. But this year I did a lot more trusting in myself and my instincts, and actually help me make some plays. And so I think moving forward, I'm just gonna be able to keep developing that, and because I feel like that's what really happens with a lot of defensive linemen usually too. Anyways, it's like they come into the league, try to prove themselves, and things get really clicking. third, fourth year. I mean, everybody's story is different, but I think moving forward, I'm excited to see how the game slows down for me, and I'm just excited to be able to go out there and make plays.